absolutely. The IFP is tabled, a private member's bill to Parliament. It is called the Employment Services Amendment Bill. We started working on this in 2020. And it emanates from the fact that we have been approached by countless South Africans who've expressed their views, saying that in some sectors, whether it's the construction sector, the hospitality sector, restaurants, trucking industry, the e-hailing, or even delivery services, mining, they're unable to access job opportunities. And so we started this process to say, well, let's do our own investigation. And coupled by that, you've now also got statements, for example, from the Minister of Labour and the Minister of Home Affairs agreeing, saying that in some sectors of our economy, such as the trucking sector and even the hospitality sector, you find that some employers are employing up to 90% of foreign nationals. And at a time when we know that our immigration system has collapsed, there's also a Commission for Employment Equity report, which says there's definitely a prevalence and a preference for foreign nationals in certain sectors. So the IFP's position is, let's level the playing field. Let's make sure that we don't discriminate against South Africans when they do want to access job opportunities. At a time when South Africa's got one of the highest unemployment rates in the world, when so many South Africans are relying on SASSA grants alone, we are saying let's level the playing field. Let's ask employers to comply with numerical targets in some of these sectors. And we will only be focusing on, for example, general workers, semi-skilled and low-skilled sectors. So that is the IFP's position in this regard.
Yeah, there are those, Liezl, who will say that the talk in South Africa, in general terms, is that South Africans tend sometimes to not want to do those either low-skilled jobs or to semi-skilled jobs, but if they do take them up, they demand certain amounts of money. You say that you have conducted your own investigations. What have you found in relation to these statements I'm making to you? Is that something that is indeed correct, or it's just pure nonsense?
I think it's pure nonsense. I mean, where's the research that shows that Africans are lazy and they don't want to take up low-skilled or semi-skilled or general worker jobs? I think it's really unfortunate, because the reason why we initiated this process is because South Africans have been saying to us, they've been, in our constituencies, wherever we've been going, we've been receiving complaints from South Africans saying we cannot access these job opportunities. And so that then tells me a story that South Africans want to work. They want to have these opportunities. As a young person myself, my first job while I was studying, and even when I was younger, was to do waitressing. And through that, I was able to pay my studies. I was able to, to eat and travel, etc. We can't have a sort of situation where some employers are clearly favoring foreign nationals ahead of South Africans when South Africans are willing, able to do the job.
Yeah, let's talk about the manner in which parties, therefore, ought to go about this. You have tabled a private member's bill to Parliament to raise this very issue. The EFF, on the one hand, yesterday you saw them doing door-to-door visits. First and foremost, is that something that MPs have the right to do, as we heard from the EFF leader who said, I am conducting oversight as a member of Parliament?
Well, as far as I understand it, we conduct oversight as Parliament, and that is normally a formal process. Like, for example, when our Home Affairs Portfolio Committee visited Beitbridge, of course, those are formal processes. I'm not sure whether, parties can just pitch up at establishments. But again, this speaks to the failures of the Department of Home Affairs and the Department of Employment and Labour. In the sense that, for example, they do not have enough immigration inspectors or labour inspectors. And then it creates a frustration where South Africans are saying we're facing a problem and nobody is helping us. So, but my view is still, let's be constructive. If we identify a crisis, which there is a problem currently as we see it, let's do it through the formal processes. Let's look at legislation. Let's look at the gaps and address it formally through Parliament. I don't think it is helpful to just go outside of the formal processes of Parliament. We do oversight. And that is normally a formal structure and process through Parliament. So I think we need to stick to that arrangement.
Yeah, I am going to press you, Liezl, because these are your fellow colleagues in Parliament, for example, or in provincial legislatures, which is parliaments that are at the level of provinces. A party like Patriotic Alliance, for example, we understand that they have been going about looking at shops run by Pakistani nationals, for example, where they are looking at the actual products, because there has been a claim that they are selling expired goods to South Africans, particularly unsuspecting South Africans, and this sometimes leads to issues of fatalities. Is that something that, again, is permissible for a political party to do?
At the end of the day, we represent the people of South Africa. We are ordinary citizens. We are members of Parliament, right? But like I've said before, the police is overstretched. The Home Affairs is undercapacitated. I do not know whether the Department of Labour and Employment are doing enough inspections. I know, for example, the immigration system has collapsed. In 2020, the Auditor General told us, for example, that just to finalise all the asylum seeker permits in South Africa will take us 68 years. Now, you've got a situation then that prevails where in some communities people are saying we've got a problem and the department or government is not assisting us. Taking matters into our own hands is not necessarily the best way to do it. Maybe we should have gone, if this was the EFF's plan, they should have asked to go with immigration inspectors or to go with the Department of Home Affairs. I think that is a more practical intervention, and certainly something that the IFP believes is more constructive, a more constructive approach.
All right. A little earlier, Liezl van der Merwe, I had a conversation with Xoli Mngambi, who is a security expert, and he actually went onto this subject on his own, although I did beef it up with a question afterwards. This is his view around what is being done in particular by the leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters. Let's just have a listen.
Let's first deal with the political parties making hay out of foreigners. This is about party politics. It has nothing to do with foreigners. They want to stay in the news, and so they're looking for events that can keep them in the news. And unfortunately, you and I, who are part of the public personality, we fall for that every time. So Julius Malema goes and intimidates shopkeepers, and that gets in the news, despite the fact that what he's doing is patently illegal. And for the shopkeepers to respond to him is patently illegal in terms of South African law. So, second issue, you talk about the Border Management Agency. In my view, a complete waste of money. What we should be doing is we should be repurposing, particularly the Department of Defense, in their role and mission to look after our border security. We have the agencies. We spend more than 40 billion rand a year on the military. The military should not be preparing for some kind of conventional defense against somebody, Botswana or Swaziland, that's going to attack us. They should be preparing for contributions to making South Africa safer. And that is assuming a larger role in rural security inside South Africa, border security, and participation in peace missions. And those in the region, like in Mozambique. And those should become their primary function.
Xoli Mngambi is there, a security expert. Liezl van der Merwe, let's conclude the conversation, and very briefly, please, if you can. He's very clear that what is being done by political parties visiting establishments is patently illegal, and he points to the failure of the management of our borders. Are you, as political parties, failing to do your jobs at Parliament in terms of oversight, and you now wanting to campaign for 2024 by going around disrupting businesses? Is that what you are doing?
Firstly, I want to separate the issue of what the Patriotic Alliance and the EFF is doing. It's got nothing to do with the IFP. The IFP started a process of a private members bill after consulting with our constituencies and people who have been asking us, help us. We started that process in 2020. So the fact that we've now submitted a bill to Parliament yesterday And that, coinciding with what the EFF and the Patriotic Alliance is doing, it's really neither here nor there. We are taking a constructive approach to say, you've got a Minister of Labour and Minister of Home Affairs saying, in some sectors, and a commission of employment equity saying in some sectors, you've got employers who are favouring foreign nationals ahead of South Africans. You've got, for example, the Royal Bafokeng mine that went and employed only foreign nationals while the locals wanted those jobs. We need to strike a balance. We need to level the playing field. So for us, it's a process that we started in 2020. We are not playing politics. We are listening to what our people have been saying to us in our communities, first and foremost. Secondly, yes, I've been very vocal about the failures of the Department of Home Affairs. In fact, in February of 2021, I wrote to Advocate Bongo, who was then the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, and I requested him that we institute a full hearing, like the parliamentary hearing that we had into the SABC and ESCOM, to look into the affairs of Home Affairs, both to look at corruption in Home Affairs, to look at the failures of our border, the issue of corruption, the bribes that the SANDF is taking, for example, which the Minister said is a big problem at Beitbridge, to look at various issues such as the concerns that people are saying that there are undocumented and or illegal migrants running sparkler shops in our communities. I said, let's look at all of that. And it was at the time when the issue of the Bashiris were in the media. And Advocate Bongo didn't even respond to my request for a full-scale parliamentary inquiry. We are doing our job. Are we doing enough? Maybe not. Yeah. But it's not a case of not trying.
Liezl van der Merwe, thank you very much for your honesty there. She is Inkatha Freedom Party Member of Parliament. Thanks indeed for you.